My name is Jim Michals. I'm a former peace officer working at Sun Peaks as well as a former arbitrator. I worked at this institution for about 6 years in the 90s, and I'm very concerned about student concerns, and I'd like to hear your questions. I've lived here a grand total of 11 years out of the last 20, and it's time to give something back. My kids, who are all in the 20s and 30s, all live and work in Alberta. So I'm kind of going, what's wrong with Kamloops? I'd like to see a bigger city, more strategic planning aspect to things. Kamloops is at the hub of a lot of things for air, for rail, for road. We need to leverage that. You know, we're characterized as the tournament city, but I think we need to bring it up and step up our game. At this point, crime and security issues. I've walked around and talked to a lot of the small business owners here, and they're finding it very difficult to do business, and they find it very difficult to attract and build their businesses when they're trying to protect themselves. Well, I think it comes in one term, just getting behind TRU, but not just TRU. I think we have to get behind the education system in a bigger and better way. But I'll speak directly to TRU since we're doing this interview. I think that the institution needs to address the tuition funding issue through the provincial government. I think that we have got to address the busing issue. In the last 6 months, I've used the bus a lot here, and you know, it doesn't work the way it should in terms of getting people here and getting them out of here. You know, if it was better managed and more productive and more efficient, you know, we'd have a system that would be equal to anything in Europe. And I believe that we have all the elements are here. So that's a second priority, I think, that should be dealt with here. Also the issue of getting more focused on finding jobs for qualified and educated students. I find that I walk around in business. I walked into one health and safety business about a week ago, and I asked where everybody was. And without exception, they said they had sent all their staff on contract to the government of Alberta. So I'm kind of going, we've got a fire situation here, we've got nothing but business for them, and they're in Alberta, and only their head office people, their management is left here. Oh man, you have to experience the outdoors. I mean, I've been calling the city the best kept secret city in BC. Most people have an impression going through here that it's a place to pick up gas and be on your way to someplace else. We're at the center of everything that's good in British Columbia. Wells Gray Park, the shoe shops. I'll even recognize the Okanagan. You know, the hiking, the quality of life, all the adventure tourism opportunities here are unprecedented in the whole world. And you know, I was just up at Wells Gray. They're trying to seek geopark status, the cities there, but they should be aiming at heritage status in terms of a UNESCO heritage site. Well, I mentioned the bus transportation system. I think that's efficient and green. You know what? I'm disappointed as an avid cyclist that our system is the way it is. You can really only travel here safely on peripheral roads as a cyclist, but they need to build that into the system. And you know, I realize that we're up here on a shelf, on a hill, but there's a lot we could do to kind of interface bus and bicycle transportation. I was going to cycle here today, and you know, the only reason I did is I wrecked my knee. And you know, I would cycle to the bus station downtown, and I would put my bus on the front end of the bus and come up here. We need integrated transportation, especially for students, not just for kind of old guys like me who like to bike once in a while. I would say it's basically getting rid of a small town mentality and building a bigger vision and making it happen. I've suggested that we basically get involved in doing what I and a committee did here to build this campus and apply that principle to the city. That is, we need to develop a convention center downtown, which could form the hub of a lot of economic activity. And there's a number of other transportation initiatives, like we should make this an international airport, which would have benefits that would be great for the community. I'll tell you my proudest achievement. When I came here in 1990, I hired an English student, a Chinese student who became one of my HR officers. She worked here for about 4 years, and she eventually moved up, and now she is a PhD teaching out of Hong Kong University. I still correspond with her. I take great pride in the fact that when I sat on the selection committee and we interviewed this lady, her English skills were not good, but I saw her potential. And against the advice of my selection committee, I said, we're hiring that person. And the rest speaks for itself.